Health disparities are an unfortunate part of our society, and there are a lot of them currently present. Special populations bear a large portion of the burden from these health disparities due to multiple reasons. However, I will discuss the special population involving children suffering from obesity and the effects it has on their mental health. Specifically, I will be discussing attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. Childhood obesity and ADHD have been linked together in countless studies. Children that are obese have a 1.29 odds ratio for also being diagnosed with ADHD. There is reason to believe that the abnormal eating patterns of children with ADHD is a link between the disorder and obesity. The same can be said for the pattern of increased television watching and decreased physical activity in individuals with ADHD. As I will discuss later on, there is also said to be a connection between ADHD and obesity through the medication prescribed for children with ADHD. ADHD can cost anywhere between $620 per child and $2,720 per child, which adds up to anywhere between $4.12 billion and $18.04 billion in total. This money is spent on such things as primary care and medications. The lifetime cost of an obese child relative to normal weighted children is between $16,310 and $19,350. Looking at these numbers and knowing that they must be combined for a child with both disorders shows how much of a toll both of these conditions can take on one family. As I alluded to earlier, the medications that are prescribed for ADHD are also linked to obesity, since studies have shown that taking ADHD medication can lead to weight gain. Considering this, a child that is taking medication for ADHD becomes even more susceptible to obesity, and a comorbidity is more likely, costing the family increasing amounts of money. Since the total cost of each condition must be added for each individual, if you were to put more resources towards treating these conditions together, then a lot of money could be saved. Simply treating one of these disorders will have an effect on the other, as both of these conditions are spiking in prevalence in today's society. In addition, low-income families have children that are more likely to be obese than their higher-income counterparts. This perhaps stems from the inability to purchase higher quality and more nutritious foods for their children. Also, if the child is originally diagnosed with ADHD, then the cost for the medications could take a toll on the family and cause the family to have to resort to lower quality foods, increasing their risk for obesity. Correlating with this fact, financial difficulties in housing, among other factors, lead to a higher risk for children to develop ADHD around the age of 7. In fact, financial difficulties induces an odd ratio of 2.23 for ADHD. In order to help alleviate some of the burden of the disparity put on these children and their families, physicians could watch children much closer once one of the diagnoses have been made. Children that are overweight have a 1.51 odds ratio of being undiagnosed with ADHD. This statistic shows that paying closer attention could prevent either one of the conditions from developing after the first one has been diagnosed. Along with ADHD, obesity is often linked with other mental illnesses such as depression, just as depression feeds obesity. Depression can lead to an increased appetite, which could lead to the development of obesity. Increasing the coverage of obesity and ADHD will also lead to an increase in coverage of other childhood mental illnesses. In regards to access to healthcare, children with a special needs condition do not have problem gaining access. However, the issue lies in the type of healthcare they receive, as many of these children see subspecialists rather than primary physicians. This leads to a decrease in the routine preventative services that would go along with reducing factors that may lead to a comorbidity, such as weight gain when diagnosed with ADHD. Due to this being a relatively new area of study, there has not been major revelations and solutions to this issue of treating comorbidity of ADHD and obesity in children. Since it's a new area of study, the comorbidity of obesity and ADHD are not dealt with enough together as a joint diagnosis, as many go undiagnosed with one condition and not the other. An increase in care of both these conditions can lead to a decrease in the prevalence of obesity and ADHD together in our society. For my discussion questions, the first one is, what are possible actions that could be done to decrease the cost of treating these conditions? The second one is, can you think of any ways to make the treatment of obesity and ADHD together more efficient and accessible? Thank you.